Hi, welcome to this week's blog. I'm going to describe a period of time how people are living and see if you can tell me what time I'm talking about. This is a period of time where people are living in complete disobedience to God. They're living completely opposite of how God says we should live. This is a time where political leaders, they are more concerned about themselves than they are about serving the people. This is a time where religious leaders, they're corrupt as well. In fact, they're afraid to speak the truth. What they speak is words that the people want to hear. They just tickle the ears of the people. This is a time when God's warning is being broadcast out, where God is telling the people to be careful, to beware, and his warning falls on deaf ears. This is a time where there's no urgency to change the way that people are living. So what time am I talking about? People are living in disobedience to God. Political leaders are more concerned about themselves than serving. And religious leaders are more concerned about just giving the people what they want to hear than they are about speaking the truth. Am I talking about 600 years before Jesus? Or am I talking about 2012? The answer to that question is yes. You know, this happened both 600 years before Christ, during the time of Jeremiah. You know, the temple was destroyed in 586. Nebuchadnezzar came over and took captive some people from 605. So in that 20-year period, people were living this way. They were living in disobedience. In fact, in Jeremiah chapter 2, it says, "My people have committed two sins. They have forsaken me, and they have exchanged their glory for worthless idols." It also says that I had planted you like a choice vine, but you turned against me into a corrupt vine. And that's how people are living today. You know, God has blessed us living here in America, but yet we have turned corrupt. We have kicked him out of our lives. We have taken him out of our schools. We're not teaching our children about him. We have completely turned our backs on God. We have forsaken him, as the word says, and we have taken on idols. And there's really no sense of urgency to change, to repent, to turn from that. As far as political leaders, Jeremiah the prophet is speaking to a king in Jeremiah chapter 22. He says, "Woe to him who builds palaces by unrighteousness." And he even asked the king a question. He says, "Does having more and more cedar make you a better king?" What was happening was the king was bringing in the best of the best, bringing in cedars from Lebanon, building his palace, and at the same time, Jerusalem was about to be destroyed and to fall. The political leaders, the kings, the presidents, those in charge, they weren't concerned about the people. They were concerned about having the best that they could possibly have for themselves. They weren't concerned about serving. They weren't concerned about how they lived. It's just convenience. You know, the political leaders were corrupt. The religious leaders in Jeremiah chapter 23 says, "Both prophet and priest together, they are godless. Even in my temple I find their wickedness. They keep saying to those who despise me, 'You will have peace.' And to all who follow the stubbornness of their heart, they say, 'No harm will come to you.'" Jeremiah was preaching the truth. He was saying, you need to stop living the way you're living. You need to turn and repent, fall on your knees, and obey God. The false prophets and the priests, they were going a completely different direction. They were telling the people, it's okay. The false prophets were saying, no harm will come upon you. As God was sending his warning signs, they were being disobeyed, and the false prophets, the priests, they were just telling the people what they want to hear. Are we talking about 600 years before Christ? Or are we talking about 2012? I'll let you decide that. Have a great week. God bless you.